Hello all, welcome to the first video on interview questions related to joins in SQL. So in this video, we'll discuss about a question which says that given that I have a candidate table from interview schema. Now if I execute this select query, you can see that these are the columns that we have. So we have registration number, student name, section, subject ID and marks. So based on this data, what we need to show is section wise total number of students along with number of students who have secured more than or equal to 75 marks or greater than or equal to 75 marks. So that means in each section, I need to show how many candidates are there or how many students are there. And also I need to show from each section, how many candidates have secured greater than or equal to 75 marks. Now let's get started. So first of all, if you see based on this question, the total number of candidates and number of candidates who secure greater than or equal to 75 marks. So in both the cases, we need to use count function on the same column, that is registration number column, because if I use count of registration number, it will give me the total number of candidates, and here also if I use count of registration number, it will give me the number of candidates who have secured greater than or equal to 75 marks. So in this case, I need to add a condition that marks should be greater than or equal to 75, but here in this case I should not add any condition. So what we'll do is we'll try to write two separate queries. One query will be related to section wise total number of candidates, and the second query will be related to section wise number of candidates who have secured greater than or equal to 75 marks, and then we'll try to merge it. Okay, so let's first write the query related to section wise total number of candidates. So I will use section column comma count on registration number. So here if you see, if I use describe interview dot candidates, you can see that registration number is showing as a primary key, so no need to use distinct registration number. So it's obvious that in each record you will have unique values. So I'll give a name to it, let's say number of candidates, then from interview dot candidates group by section, because for each section I need to show how many candidates we have. So this is the answer. So in section A we have 3 candidates, in section B we have 4 candidates, and in section C we have 3 candidates. Now let's write the second part of the query, that is section wise number of candidates who have secured greater than or equal to 75 marks. So same thing, select section comma count function on the same column, that is registration number. So I'll give a different name to it, let's say number of candidates more less greater than or equal to 75 from interview dot candidates, where, because there's a condition involved that marks should be greater than or equal to 75. On that basis I need to show section wise how many candidates we have. So where marks greater than or equal to 75 and group by section. So that is the only difference in between these two queries. So this is the output. So from section A it is 2, from section B it is 2, and from section C it is 1. Now if you see, out of 3 candidates in section A, 2 candidates have secured more than or equal to 75 marks. Out of 4 candidates in section B, 2 candidates have secured more than or equal to 75 marks. And out of 3 candidates in section C, only 1 candidate is secured greater than or equal to 75 marks. Now how to merge these two queries, because in a single query I need to show both. So for that what we will do is we'll use join. Now whenever we are using an aggregate function on the same column but for different purposes. So here I'm using count aggregate function on the same column but for 2 different purposes. One is to find out the number of candidates, and the other one is number of candidates who have secured greater than or equal to 75 marks. So we are using the aggregate function on the same column multiple times but for different purposes. So in that case we have to go with joins. Now how to join? So I'll just copy this query and I'll put that in the bracket and I'll mention it as T1. So this is my temporary table. So the result of this query will be stored in T1. and I will write select star from the result of this query, which is stored in T1. Then inner join, and I'll put bracket and copy the second query. And the result of this query will be stored in T2. Now what I'm doing is I'm joining T1 and T2. So the result of this query, where it is showing section wise number of candidates, will be stored in T1, and the result of this query, where it shows section wise number of candidates have secured greater than or equal to 75, will be stored in T2, and will be joining T1 and T2. And once that is done, we'll write on T1 dot. So you to see the common column. So the common column over here is your section. So on T1 dot section is equal to T2 dot section. Let's execute it. As you can see, this is section wise number of candidates, and this is section wise number of candidates who have secured greater than or equal to 75. Now what we'll do is, instead of writing star, we'll just use section, comma, number of candidates, comma, this, because these are the three things we wanted to show. Now let's execute this query again. Okay, so it is showing as column section in the field is ambiguous because it is present in both T1 and T2. So I can use any one of them because I'm using inner join. So it is T1 dot section. So this is what the result we are expecting. So in section A, there are a total of 3 candidates, out of which 2 candidates have secured more than or equal to 75 marks. In section B, there are 4 candidates, out of which 2 students have secured greater than or equal to 75 marks. And in section C, we have 3 candidates, out of which only 1 candidate is secured greater than or equal to 75 marks. So the crux of this particular question is, whenever you have to use aggregate function on the same column, but for multiple purposes, then you have to go with join. So that's it from this video. Thanks everyone.